It has been 4 years since ONEFOUR dropped The Message. It dropped... I'm actually a few days late on the anniversary of this because it actually dropped 31st of March 2019. Just have a quick moment to think back. What was you doing at the time of late March 2019, going into April around Easter time? For me, I was around coming up to the 1 year mark of diving into the whole Australian scene. Obviously, I didn't start my journey at ONEFOUR. My journey actually started with Chillin' It and Husky and Alex Jones and Wombat and all of those guys, the body bag media era, as I like to often bring up. But a lot of people discovered me through this reaction in and around this period, you know, and this is where a lot of people got into Australian hip hop as a whole, particularly if you come from a Polynesian background, because this was a huge, huge step for you guys, not only for you, but the scene as a whole, you know. There are people who don't know about much hip hop before ONEFOUR, especially from an international perspective. So there's no denying whether you love, hate these guys, you can never deny the impact that this track alone had. You know, there were, at this point here, I wasn't the only reactor now covering this scene. You know, you had other guys, Lee to the VIs, Dan and Kaz, Walks, American guys, whoever, you know. You had all sorts hopping on this. And it will go down as a moment forever, this track. I remember doing this reaction, not realizing how big it was going to be. I knew it was going to have buzz. I knew it was going to have buzz like if I do a reaction to 046 or Cursor now. You know, kind of like I know it's going to do thousands of views. I didn't realize it was going to do over 100,000 views. And that to me is insane. You know? So let's go through one of the most nostalgic tracks with it being so young. You know, only 4 years old, but it's so nostalgic already to the moment that changed the face of Australian hip-hop in 2019. We've got disclaimers and all of that. Let's go, man. What a huge... When Maxed Out was a director. Crazy.
If you do not wish to receive this call, please hang up now.
60 FPS. Is it in 60 FPS or is it in 50 FPS? Ooh. Ooh.
Complex.
Ooh.
With Shelly 1-4 from the
Western Sydney.
Up in Vermont on that lockdown. Free Freddy, free Levy, free me, free Rondo, free Justin, free Chef.
How does this opening line go? It goes.
JM, I'm a 1-4 veteran, boss on my hood cause I back my section. When I met the streets and slapped that thing, lad, I knew I found my obsession. Had me running the born.
And this shot here had everyone going nuts. Everyone's like, what? Outside of the courthouse. Crazy. This put not only Mount Druitt on the map, it put Western Sydney on the map. It put Australia on the map, man. Crazy.
When I met the streets and slapped that thing, lad, I knew I found my obsession. Had me running the ball, no question. Swear any op I saw, I pressed him. Either sell YP or Lex, couldn't leave his chest without no injection. 1-4, we've been putting in work since knee high, them days on the curb. Now I'm proud to say to this day forward that the 7 put it up on a shirt. Just fill up the car and urge, got things on hips, watch ops disperse.
Like, this had people in a fucking headlock. JM's, I don't know, I really wonder if the boys knew it was going to be as big as it was. I know there were some people that were managing them, some people around them that knew they were going to be big. But did the boys really think themselves that they were going to be this big? Did they realize the potential they had? Because I don't think anyone predicted them to blow up as big as they did, apart from a handful of people. But let's say to the rest of us that were, you know, maybe in the scene or maybe casual or whatever, I don't think any of us could have ever predicted this, you know? Like, I wonder if these boys knew it at the time of recording and or filming this.
crack my shank and you pull yours and seal will take off first.
Crazy bar.
Don't whinge and cry like me, so Mac go grip and ride. Have your team all wet and wild right where my crew bring clips and slide. Wanna talk them clips and try. This is a different side. You boys just bitch and hide. Come out and ride for your friend cause someone got dipped and shh. Someone got dipped and shh. Get down when I grip that steel. Hands up when I bring that hammer. Come through while I pull that ching. Have your head face down like a Southwest ganger.
Have your face down like a Southwest ganger. At the time, I didn't know what a ganger was. Now I know what a ganger is. It is a lovely, lovely, lovely lady that the boys love to spend time with.
1-4, we ain't got no manners. Only if you test my crew. If you ain't a part of this beef and you wanna talk shit, you can get some too. See me eating well. Put out my chin for my show and tell.
So many people to this day talk about how much Spenny has improved. And it really, really shows in tracks like this. I recently went through ONEFOUR's discography from start to finish. And you can see that Spenny had such a steep curve. Like, I feel like he always had this kind of energy that he's now tapped into, but he really had to work on cadence and delivery because his delivery here sounds so weak compared to what he does now. He has grown in confidence on that microphone tenfold. Absolutely. Not to say that this is a terrible verse, by the way, but you can just hear that. Listen to this and then listen to Commas or Street Guide even. You will hear a world of difference.
Call me Festus when you hear the bell. I'll be wrecking ops like I'm wrecking Ralph. We on the block so there ain't no fouls. I'll be scoring points when I kick him out. I'm on the road and it's getting loud. When you see me approach like another route. I'm on the high from the ganja. My sticky can put you down under. These ops are broke and affiliate that I toss to go half on a bumper.
One thing that Spenny does amazing here is he sounds so different to JM's flow-wise. His flow is so different, and that's one thing that helped these boys stand out. They actually sounded unique as individuals within a group. The criticism I have of a lot of drill groups, whether it be Australia, the UK, even America, whatever, is certain members sounding too much alike. My favorite groups are always the ones where from the second they open their mouth, you can tell who's who. They have their own identity through their voice, and not every group is blessed to have that. The other thing that you also have is members being weaker than others, which ONEFOUR started out as, in my opinion. I think they've all raised to this level now where they're as good as each other, but I don't think it started off that way. They've all massively grown, as I mentioned before, but yeah. His flow is so different to JM's, and I think that does him a world of good here.
The coca got me feeling jumpy. Roll the dust and got stuck in Jumanji. Getting triple digits like I'm Scottie Pippen. Whipping in the kitchen, Gordon Ramsay. Ooh, now that I'm down for the 2770. Done for my set, you already know. Knocking them down like the dominoes. I know that they know that Spenny's about to blow. All of my dubs coming in a row, but I'm still writing raps on my writing phone. Retaliation is a must. Ain't no maybe ifs or buts.
What a fucking bar. One of the most iconic bars in the history of Australian hip-hop. Retaliation is a must, ain't no maybe ifs or buts. We took numerous trips around there, but lad, that's something I can't discuss. I don't want to end up in cuffs. Listen, YP really stood out, and there's people to this day that say YP is the strongest member, and I really do believe it is off the back of this verse alone. I'm not even mad at that statement. I'm not mad at anyone now saying who is the best member of ONEFOUR. I think they all have their own standout moments. This has got to be the standout moment of this track. It does. Like, outside of JM's opening bar, this has got to be just as if not more iconic, more important to this track. And this is the bar that so many people quote when all the reactors come around. This is the bar that they go nuts about. This is the bar that turns the function sideways type thing.
Maybe ifs or buts. We took numerous trips around there, but lad, that's something I can't discuss. I don't wanna end up in cuffs. We heartless, wrong or right, regardless. Yeah, I'ma back my blood. Scott got and he left his Uzzo shit, and he's still out talking tough. They don't know about taking risks. Them big lads, they ain't made for this. We invest in shanks and shivs, and if there's beef, we taking trips. I can't call them ops, like we beefing flops. I got friends looking at 10. You watch yours get put in a box. Who wants smoke? They don't want smoke. Trust me, mothers, them boys ain't ready. 21 what? But one got knocked. Ha, I guess that makes them 20.
Listen, to have two crazy quotables in the same verse, nuts. Absolutely. The disrespect on this track really just emphasized. It really highlighted these man and really put onto the world like, okay, Australia's more than just fucking kangaroos and shrimps on the barbie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, same way when people look to the UK and were just like, oh, the Queen and crumpets and tea. Know what I mean? Bottle of water. Like, it's the same thing with our culture and how we was able to be like, nah, 1 minute, there's actually a street culture here. Oh, there's actually gang violence here. And, you know, as much as most of us don't necessarily condone it, it's us telling our story. And that's what these men do here. They're telling their story. They're saying, like, look, this is where we're from. This is what really goes down. And yeah, obviously they're at in a certain group of people. And at their detriment ultimately, but they really highlighted like, yo, we have our own street culture here. And although people have done this for years in Aussie hip hop, let's not pretend like 1-4 were the first people to do it. I'm just saying that they are the first ones to put it on, or the next step in terms of showing it, especially to an international audience, you know. I can't necessarily say that everyone back in the UK knew who Trem and Brad Strutt were, you know. I can't necessarily say they knew who Cursor and Enter, and, you know, I'm sure there were a handful of people that did, but my brethrens heard about 1-4. They didn't hear about these other guys. And so although those other guys paved ways for many of us that are here now, 1-4 are the next set of people, the next major step to then pave the way for the ones ahead. And I know I'm going to cop flack for that. I know there's going to be people going, yo, go back to the 90s and the 80s when this and that will happen. Of course. And they paved way for the next and the next and the next. I'm just saying 1-4 are the next step, major step in that ladder of people.
Me mothers, them boys ain't ready. 21 what? But one got knocked. Ha, I guess that makes them 20. Free up Freddie and Lebs. Plus my Coey is deacon chef. Making moves while them boys follow.
That bar didn't age as well though.
Freddie and Lebs. Plus my Coey is deacon chef. Making moves while them boys follow. Playing these games like Simon says.
They call me Chingy not, cause the way that I scream my eyes. When things get iffy, then I'm known to wave and just swing my knife. When it goes in them, then I push the blade a few more times. 2-7 drill them boys victims, they don't ride, just bitch and lie. We twist up while them boys just dancing. Strictly shivering, shanking, push that sword like captain. Step on deck and plank him, too much talk. But no,
they're so unique and different to each other. You can just hear it the second he steps on the mic, man.
They came for women, I'm not here romancing. I'll use anything just to get the win, I don't take no chances. Don't step on the field cause weapons are still used to play this game. Don't believe in your home cause setting a stone is where you'll see your name. If I lack when I'm out, then I stomp till I see his brains. Leave these pavement stains, so do it again and again. Do it again and again. That's reckless shivers. If it's done by me, so be the YP, then lad, there ain't no difference. Don't pull out for decoration, this thing goes all in him. That's vicious drillers, opposite victims out on a mission, souls are missing. I love just fucking twisting.
And the iconic way that they ended most of their tracks at this time, it never ended, never run out with the instrumental, it just ended on the last bar of the verse. They do the same in Spot the Difference, they do the same in a lot of other tracks. Man, what a moment. What a moment in history. Like I said, this didn't only benefit me, this didn't only benefit 1-4, this benefited a lot of people. And the amount of artists and groups that we had come out of 2019, mainly because of this track. Let's have it right. I think it opened people's eyes to go, oh, yo, what? There's actually an audience for this Aussie hip-hop thing, specifically in a Polynesian market and community. What? A brother from the islands can come and do this? Okay then. And again, there was many people doing this before that we have to give homage to. And there'll be, you know, if you're someone who's very knowledgeable about that, please comment that and give a little bit of context for some other people to read about. But yeah, to a lot of people, this is the beginning of their journey, you know? And it just, yeah, I can't emphasize how big of a moment this is. you know, and I'm very fortunate enough to have had almost a year under my belt getting a feel for what the scene was like before this, you know, which had its own buzz and pop at the time. And this came in and just changed that landscape completely. And a lot of people now at the time of 2023 are like, yo, Oz drill ain't the same and this, that, and the other. And it's like, you got to realize how big of a moment that was, that artists are still doing hundreds of thousands, millions of views, touring the country, doing major business, performing at finals and being part of festivals, and like real shit, you know, real shit that we should never subdue and look down upon. But it makes it, because of moments like The Message and Spot the Difference and other tracks at the time, it makes us look at what's happening now as if it's a bad thing or that it's not as active. And it's like, yo, there's some crazy things still happening in this scene. But because it just weren't the moment that it was back then, it's a moment that you can't replicate. Not the same way it was here. The next moment like this, we're waiting another few years. We're waiting another 5 years. We're waiting another 10 years. For another moment like this, you're waiting a bit. They don't come round every year, you know? The same way the UK had its moment in 2015 with all the grime movement and Stormzy coming through, Skepta resurging grime, Chip and Bugsy having a beef. You know, there was a lot going on, and that was the UK's moment. And I suppose we haven't really had that since. There's been moments from individuals, people like Central C, people like Russ and Tion Wayne, and, you know, there's still moments within individuals, but to have a whole movement, I don't think the UK's had one since 2015-16, you know? And I'd say the 2018-19, for not only that Body Bag Media era groups and the Get Body Tour, then there's this side of it as well, you know, that's just huge. And they don't come around very often. And so, yeah, I really just want to, just say a massive thank you to everyone that's been a part of the journey, you know. I was at a Posse Shot show last night at the time of recording this, and so many people bumped into me and was like, yo, this is the moment where I found you. This is the moment I've been watching since then, or whatnot. And, yeah, it's massively appreciated to the people that have supported for this long. I've also, although I still haven't met the boys, I still got to say thank you to ONEFOUR because, they've allowed me to grow my platform a huge amount, and despite them not doing it for me, I've benefited off of what they've done, you know? And I hope that in some way, shape, or form, they've also benefited off of what I've done, even if it's a small amount over the years. So a lot of respect there, and I hope that's mutual. Man, let us know. Let me know what was happening at this time in your life. 2019, March, April times, Easter time 2019. What was going on in your life then? What was happening? What do you remember about this track coming out and around that time? Man, a lot can change in 4 years. I found myself saying this a lot on these videos where we mark the anniversary of something really important. But yeah, this is a big one. So let me know what was happening at the time. And man, big ups to yourself. Thank you to everyone that's been a part of the journey. Do you reckon the day after this track came out, Amazon had a 12% rise in purchases of balaclavas? Because I'm pretty sure that the stock went up after this video.